Yeah, I'm live. I'm live early. Hopefully this. I'm gonna turn that off. Whoa, 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 whoa. I got the rinkies. Hey, you guys are warm up there in the north. Here in the southern hemisphere, we're coming into winter. Officially starting. The 20th, 23rd, something like that. I'm sorry I'm early. It's my nature. That's why the first one was so bad, because I'm never late. Anyway, some of you hip know I'm here. We're going to jump. Hey, like my hat. We're ready to go. Got my coffee. I'm ready for your questions. I'll write them down. Oh, nobody's there. I don't even know if this is actually going. Yeah, I know the microphone's working. I'm just going to assume I'm live. I got questions. Yeah, I'll get into those in a minute. You know what I'm going to do is just read a bit from my book because I know this goes out to my new book. Yeah, we're live. We're live. Okay. This is good content. Is this good content? How about if I drink my coffee? Everybody can drink their coffee together. It's early. I'm sorry I'm early because I get confused with the whole live thing. Let's just go to yeah, okay. So on my phone, you guys might like this one. It's a saucy. I'm saucy. You know I am. Come on. You getting the regular deal with Mike. So what I'm doing is on my phone. I'm reviewing book 3, which I've written, but it needs, of course, some refining. But I have a chapter in book 3 called "Why You Can't Paint Like Me." First off, nobody can really paint like anyone else. So I answer your question right off the bat. No one can paint like anyone else anyway. There's going to be some overlap. There are going to be influences, and we talked about that in a previous chapter. I have a whole chapter on influences, the best use of them. I'm not sure exactly why anyone would want to paint like me, except sometimes I pull things off pretty well. And I've been doing this a long time. I've been on YouTube talking about it for a long time, so perhaps they're out there. The influence versus imitation gap. I did come across one day on Instagram a painting that looked very familiar to me because someone had made a copy based on one of my YouTube videos without attribution. Yeah, just put my name on the back or call me out in the post. Hey, based on a painting by old M. Francis there. I could tell it was based on one of my paintings, but the reality is it was actually miles away from what I do. The basic composition was there, but the colors were off. The brushwork was completely different. And all you could really say is that it was influenced by my work. We talked about brushwork in this series already somewhat, but this might be a good place to go a little further into it. The way that you place the paint on the canvas is going to be incredibly individualistic. Even when you receive instruction from another painter, they seldom tell you where to place one stroke or how to place one stroke one way and another stroke the other. It's primarily left up to you, and that's true. Let's get a brush. You know, you're gonna be following along. You're gonna just be making your own way. This is where it all. This is you, the brush, and the reality. Anyway, back to the book. Brushwork is deeply personal. I have noticed a fundamental difference between the way I paint and how some of my students approach painting. They basically just move the brush up and down and hold it like a pencil, like I am right now. You've got lots of ways you can hold your brush. Hey, Rich, how you doing? You knew I'd be early this time, eh? I I, I thought I was pre. I thought it was pre-live, but I think I'm live. Whatever. I got two people watching. Hello, welcome to the broadcast. And Rich, hopefully you're having a nice summer over there. As you can see, it's a bit cold here, but we got the sun out today. Anyway, let's get into the brushwork is deeply personal because I think I made some really good points. So you know what? Actually, before I do that, this what is this book I'm writing? What is it? Okay, so I hit my 10-year anniversary. Is it anniversary? You know, centiversary on YouTube. Wow. That'd be well, no, 90's a bit much, isn't it? So happy to see Fahrenheit because Fahrenheit rocks. Celsius makes no sense. Come on. Anyway, I started thinking, well, I should go back and review things. And there's so many videos. I mean, I was watching 4 and 5 a day, and the earliest ones were only 6 minutes, starting with the 100 Days of Tonalism. And I got 200 or 300 in. And also I was doing the blog. I had double work at that time. So I had the blog post because I was already doing the blog before, and the YouTube, and one of my dreams, by the way, was something I'm doing now, which was to manage to transcribe the blog post, the video post into a blog, which I've been doing now. And if you're checking out my Substack, you're getting that. But that Substack is the same thing as my blog on my Squarespace. I'm double posting now, but I got lots of plans on the web front. Not that they're going to be materializing right now because I'm working on this book and getting back to what this book, the genesis, was. And so, if you know my stuff, I'm tossing out insights here. A lot of times the real time live videos are the best because it's right there in the moment, and that information is going to be the most pertinent. It's one thing for me to be sailing around over the top of something that I've already painted, just throwing out little tips and tricks. So anyway, I started thinking, and then I saw on that blog, my blog, where I was putting together a book, and eventually, of course, I did. I sell it on the channel, and that book I didn't bring it out. Damn. I thought I was gonna have my act together, but that book was like Kevin McPherson's book. You know what I mean? It was a how-to, and it's doing well, and I'm very proud of it. But this book I'm working on is a collection of insights. It's a collection of insights over not every insight, but if you know me, I'm always hitting those same points over and over because painting has got it always presents you the same challenges in different ways. And so I thought, wow, I want to collect all of these insights together into a much broader framework. And so that's what I'm working on. That's what I was reading a bit about. And yeah. Like I said, I'm just finished section 1 of book 4, so I'm doing it, and this has been going on for 6 months now. Yeah, it's a huge undertaking. And if you've done big paintings or anything like that, it's all about planning, but being adaptable, right? And I was very lucky in a way because I'm the kind of person that probably should have just gone from high school into college and stuff. But I had a bad attitude. I was a rebellious young man, not a good kid. I never got into trouble or nothing, but basically, I didn't have much use for authority. And so I didn't go to college out of high school. I went right into the workforce, and I started working with the people. I know the people. I've been working, and then I ended up managing that picture frame operation. No way, no way, Rich. Although I will say, like winter, yeah. The question was, is the writing cutting into my painting time? But painting time has been pretty consistent. So I go to the studio. I do my writing at home. In some sense maybe it has, but the other thing to keep in mind is like kind of winter here, so there's not much happening at the Corey Art Center. Hey, Elaine. Oh, so sorry it's so late. Yeah, but this is really early for me. I just got up an hour and a half ago, and I'm still having my coffee. So, but appreciate you. I appreciate those thumbs up. I wish I could give myself one. You got 4 viewers right now and 1 like, but I can understand if you might not like this. You're waiting for something interesting to happen. Anyway, I was working in manufacturing for a long time, so I did learn very much so how to get things together, how to move things along, and how mostly how things go wrong all the time. They always seem to go wrong. What are you going to do? So, but this book isn't really cutting into my painting time too bad. Um, there have been some days where, especially now, it's like really now it's like because I have, 3.5 books of material behind me, and I'm going through, and I don't want to repeat myself too much. Now, I will say the same point. Thank you for that like. I got 2 viewers. I got 2 likes. I'm good. Pardon me. This is going to go out to the world afterwards, so it's all good. Um, yeah. Painting is something I got to do every day. Oh man, you guys tune into the painting that's going to be coming up this weekend. I'm very proud of it. And so one thing I've been doing, the other thing is like I've been doing these massive. I haven't hatched them on the channel yet because I have. I want to coordinate my strategy with a friend of mine here in New Zealand, but um, I'm doing these really big scenics of New Zealand landscapes that are quite large and almost really more like your Hudson River tip than your tonalist thing, although the tonal harmony is obviously still present. But what I've been doing interspersed with those is solid tonalist work, and that's what's going up on. It's my Sunday. It's usually your Saturday. And that's going to be really thrilled with that. And that is some of this digitally manipulated reference. Oh, I can't blame you, Rich. It's endless, isn't it? Yeah. Put me on double speed. Put me on four times. I tell you what, though, Rich, I'm working to make transcripts of the lives too now, so you can see the kind of the points that were hit, and we're still obviously the technology's catching up, but ultimately what would be great would be to have those sort of timestamps so you could just go to that part of the video, but yeah, and I appreciate you, Rich, and I know you always follow the 15 minutes, and we're rolling out the live on the Substack too, I should say. And what's great about the Substack, actually, what's a little bit of a bummer on the Substack, it's not 4K, but I imagine most of you are watching in 1080 anyway. But it has the live video in the Substack with the post, with the reference. There's a summary, then there's uh, a transcript, and the transcript's been cleaned up nicely as well. So this is what I'm doing because I really want to provide more value there. And the thing is, like, I know there's a treasure trove of insights in all those live videos. And the thing that's a little bit, of a, I don't know if it's a bummer, it's just reality. I mean, the reality is it takes me a long time to make a painting sometimes. And I'm sure, Rich, you've seen at the beginning, if I look at the waveforms, you see a lot of activity at the beginning of these live videos, and then we get big swaths, and every painting's a fresh challenge. But but even there'll be an insight coming out here and there, and I think those are so pertinent and prescient. So I'm really excited about the ability to start capturing those and having those as things that can help people learn. And then obviously, as the tech gets better and my assistants get better, I could turn them loose on the YouTube channel. And I became exhausted with the process. Like I got 200 in, but I think well over there's some duplication. So you got for the last since 2021 or so, we started doing 15-minute and live video. Um, so that'd be one topic or one subject but two different styles of video, and they weren't really related. And one thing I am trying to do, yeah, you're a smart guy, Rich, and you came. I think you came on board with me back when I was just doing lives over at the antique shop. I think the live videos are where it's at, but people, I understand people are time challenged, you know. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's all there, you know. It's one thing for me to be, like I say, I'm floating over the top. I'm looking at the painting session. I'm thinking, oh, what can I tell you about painting today? It's not the same thing as being like in the trenches and the bullets are flying, you know. So I'm really excited about being able to like use a net to kind of start scooping up some of those insights. And uh, a lot of what's happening with my insights and what's behind this book I'm writing is, so what I did, getting back to that, is I was going through the blog posts. I was capturing information that I'd said back in the day as a text file, much of it pertinent, some of it I changed. But even there, if there was like a technique that I used to use that I thought would be valuable to somebody, it's in the book. Basically, what's in the book is like every single insight that I could ever think to put in there that would be pertinent and useful to somebody. Yeah. And that's, first of all, it started in December and it took me maybe a month and a half or two to assemble. And where I stopped with the YouTube, going like I was capturing text from transcripts and the blog post, and after a certain point in time, I stopped doing the blog altogether. And just concentrated on the videos, and there's tons of information in all of them. But it's the same. I hit the same points all the time. So, and it's easy for me. That's one of the reasons I want to say this is easy for me. This goes on a little while, but I'm doing it for you. Um, I have it all in here. It's all based on, working. So I don't have to necessarily remember things or learn things. It's all the water I'm swimming in. So, but there's insights and then there's insights. Some insights can change your life completely, Like actually, do we have any questions on my Ask Me Anything here? Because I'm burbling on about my thing and stuff you guys may not care that much about. I do have, I have questions here. Oh, this is Eve. Eve helps me out. Okay, whoa. Where'd you go, Eve? Eve. Oh man, I think I clicked on new. There we go. Oil painting a technique. Eve asked me, could you elaborate on your paint more and care less philosophy? I wasn't aware that was my philosophy, but I like it. Paint more, care less. Yeah, it is my philosophy, actually. What is behind that? Okay, what happens for, I've seen this with so many students, and I work in an art center, you know. Let's grab a painting. I am gonna still do that show, guys. I'm a little bit behind. I'm a little bit That's painting's dangerous. Oh, by the way, I've got to impart some information here. ACM, right? Have you heard of it? It's pretty cool in one sense. It's a nice painting. Let's look at the painting. That's better than the white bit. Pretty cool in one sense, in that that's a sheet of aluminum over a plastic core. It's not going to be adversely affected by any weather conditions. It's pretty nice to paint on. It takes some practice to get the prepping done. But there's a real issue with this stuff, and I can't have it in, what's that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's tomorrow. That's telling me to prep my Sunday vid, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait to share it with you. It's a really cool toneless piece. But anyway, let's talk about the ACM. So, here's one on wood. So most of what I do is wood. We looked at that one last week. We have lots of paintings here. Let's just grab another random painting. Oh, this looks like it's from a while back. This is this is wood. This is from 10 years ago. So that was still good. I got a good thing about this tree. I kind of wish this tree went a bit more this way. I've tried to repaint the scene. Actually, I've driven by that area where I, got this reference photo, and that tree's a lot bigger. Obviously, I did this a long time ago. But back to the issue with the ACM. This is wood. This is laminated. This is Cowrie on MDF, right? The problem with that ACM is that it has this metal edge, and it's been scratching my other paintings, man. It's got that sharp little metal edge, and I did sand that edge too. So ACM is out for these smaller paintings, but definitely, probably, I've got some these. Like I said, I'm doing these big scenics, New Zealand, and you'll see them on the channel. Um, Definitely great for that. It's lightweight, and I tell you, the main thing I like about it is this: it doesn't warp. And it's not going to degrade over time with environmental exposure, and that's a lot. That's an important deal. So, my verdict on the ACM is like, yeah, if everything you're doing is going into a frame, great. But if you are putting your pieces together like I do, I've never had a painting scratch another painting. I have had issues with a little blue tack sticking to the front of another painting, or maybe people have handled it and it's got scratched, but I don't want that. Yeah. Okay. So getting back into the question E presented with me, presented to me. Paint more, care less. That's a good one. Yeah. So what I've seen is like, you think, oh, I want to be an artist. I think I'm an artist. I think that's perfect for my temperament. All I need to do is do some art. Yeah. I've got this idea. I'm going to make a painting of a lion in the desert with, a herd of gazelle in the distance, and then a chariot that's on fire in the foreground. And I've got it all worked out. It's going to be amazing. Okay. And how many other paintings have you done? Well, this will be my painting. This is going to be it. So you get your stuff out, you get your reference together, you start making your painting. Obviously, you haven't done very many paintings, so what happens is it doesn't go very well. What you should have done is instead of doing one big painting, you should do 20 paintings. And I always care about what I do. I think it's important to put as much sincere effort into your work as humanly possible. However, you don't want to mythologize the process. That's not going to be helpful at all. You want to turn painting into an expression of yourself and who you are, and just sit down and paint and do it every day. And that's one reason I like the smaller paintings. Like, oh, this is the size of the one I did yesterday that I'm going to be putting on the. I burned the long video last night, and I'll be going on the channel Saturday. Your Saturday, my Sunday. That's 8 by 10, which I found to be quite challenging. This one works out all right. I found I think 8 by 10 is really amazing as a portrait size, or horizontally much more challenging. I really do like this painting. Did so many good things here. Even back then, I knew not too many tree holes. There's a tips flying around, and this is the thing. That's why that's all. It's all gonna be in the book. It's gonna. And what's great about the book is like, yes, I have help with the book, but I am writing the book. And um, what's great is that there's headings. So you'll be able to just, oh God, I'm having problems with, my brushwork, man, my brushwork. Boom, that's going to be addressed. And then it's not just kind of what I'm doing. It's like brushwork, of course, is not just going to be its own topic. And then we never talk about it again, because making paintings is about using your brush. I mean, or unless you use a knife, of course, which I don't. Um, And I'll tell you why. You want to know why? Since we're just burbling on. I find that palette knife paintings look real samey. You start to lose like kind of an individual feel to it. I have the same problem with watercolor too, really. Now, granted, you can make an individualistic knife painting, and I could be wrong, but there's just something about when you start shoveling on the paint real thick, things get kind of this samey quality. I think it's a loss of individuality. I will say, though, I'll take that right back when you're talking about someone like Richard Schmid. He knows how to use the knife. Ah, yes, I have lots of brushes. What do I like about the Trekkle? That's I don't have any here. It's almost like a Trekkle. Actually, is this a filbert? I can't. No, it's a flat, but it's a little. So what I like about the Trekkle is, first of all, like this one is a little bit loose. The Trekkle is first of all, it has almost like a body to it that's a bit synthetic, but it's not. It's actual hog's hair. Okay. And it comes up and it really has a great, first of all, it's got a great amount of length to it, as this does. This is pretty good for the length. One thing I personally hate is like little stubby brushes. I don't want that. I got a caveat there. We're down to rich. The caveat would be if I've worn it down, then it's okay if it's a bit of a stubby. But these types of brushes only get worn down so far because most of the paintings I do are not using brushes. More and more I'm using this size. But back to the Trekkle. So there's this wonderful kind of holding on to this. And then the filberts have the most beautiful squared little toe at the top. And then there's like, am I helping you here? There's a bit of a diagonal there. It's a great little spot. It's basically like having three different brushes. Now, I haven't really worked with like Robert Simmons filberts, so it could just be that I got onto the Trekkle and I got onto the long. I got on the first their long filberts, which are generally too long. I find a long filbert is just starts to get away from me. But I like a brush that's fairly long. I like a brush that's very snappy. As you know, Rich, I used to be Mr. Flat guy, and when I was this is a flat, but it's been worn out, and one of the floor out worn out to the point that it's almost like a filbert. And why is this worn out so much? It's because I used the corner repeatedly with my flats. That was my small brush. And I remember you and I talked, and you were saying, well, you were the one who put me on the flats. I was in the filberts. And now you're going into filberts. And yeah, I'm definitely deep into filberts now. There are times like those number 3 year tracked flats, those are amazing and those are great. And for me, it's reflexive to just go, if I've got that corner on a flat, I'll use that. The whole principle really behind how I paint with my brushes is to try and use the biggest brush possible um, to, 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 to do the job at hand. Um, Especially this was actually I've modified that behavior somewhat, but this was something I did for myself when I was starting out because I had a real background. Yeah, you like flats. I could see that. Yeah, I like flats too. I got plenty, but like you, I have many brushes. But I did just get those the Trekkle 6. I love it, man, because it's big enough, it's long enough, and if your brush is a little longer, that means you can do a lot with the side, and that's like having a bigger brush, right? And then I love if I've got that angle, I can use that. That's yet another brush, and then I've got the toe. That's yet another brush. So it's a whole bunch of brushes all at once for me, and I'm very, very big on that Trekkle. It's a two the two filbert. Now the too long filbert, too long, too flop. It's not floppy. It's just too long. If the brush is too long, when you go like this, it kind of goes. Ugh, you don't want that. You want your brush to respond to what you're doing. And yeah, we were talking about brushwork on that little bit I was reading. You're going to do this. A lot of people are going to do this. That's fine. I do that. You can look at my videos, but sometimes you want to do this. Oh, I tell you what I've been doing a lot of. Maybe you can even. I didn't do it on this painting, but many times to blend. Can you see this? Yeah. Let's try. I might do this kind of thing now, where I'm using the flat side. Now, be careful with it. Of course, it could really be destructive, but it can be a great way to, especially for clouds, and that's why you probably saw me go right up to the clouds there. Um, yeah, challenge yourself if you're a painter starting out. Uh, Challenge yourself. You hold in the brush like this, and well, okay, that's fine. You're getting paint on the canvas, and kudos, credit goes to you for doing something that involves making things in the real world. You're a hero. But challenge yourself. How can I? You ever ask yourself why are they so long? Well, you ever see these long? If I'm doing long vertical trees, I'm right down here because this is much easier to make a straight long vertical straight line like this than when you're all choked up like this. See, if you're trying to do it like that, I don't know if that's translating for the video, but you get the idea. Whereas here, you can kind of be relaxed in your arm and pull down. I even go a little longer, you know, go as long as you need. And in fact, you've got this flat part of the brush, you got the corner of the brush. If you use the flats, and you're doing this kind of thing, you're getting like little chisely marks, you know. One issue I had, and like with this is a Robert Simmons, is when I would use a lot of fours, and when they get worn out, the Robert Simmons are kind of stiff. It's a fairly stiff brush. It would look like a filbert, but it'd make these little cups. And this is one of the like a little C shape. And that's so annoying in the sky. I could totally work with it in the foliage, but yeah, brushes, man. I could talk about brushes all day, but I love the Trekkle because they're snappy. I love the filbert shape. I might be missing a trick with Robert Simmons filberts. I haven't actually tried them. I got onto the Trekkle because one of the shops here many years ago was carrying them briefly, and they since stopped. But a lot of times what happens is I'll pick up a type of a brush, and then I'm working with it, and then you go, "Wow, this is really working great. I love this brush. I need more." And this is how my mind operates, if a brush is working great. And I do recommend that to you guys out there too. If you find one brush is really making magic happen for you, don't assume you're going to be able to buy that brush for all time. I'm sure Rich can tell you that's not the case. In fact, he really helped me out with my number three problem. I had a situation where I was using, I not for a long time, I was using two Robert Simmons for a lot of things. But I had some threes, and they were amazing. They were just the right size for a lot of foliage type jobs. I really loved them. I went to go buy more, and Robert Simmons says, "Oh, we don't need threes, and we don't need ones either," which is another size I liked from them. We don't need threes, we don't need ones. Just use your four or use your two and shut up. Okay, and that was their attitude. And it frankly cost them my business. I don't care. No, I don't buy any of these. I got some though. I got a bunch in the drawer, and I will use them. I still love you, Robert Simmons, but I'll put my effort and energy into the Trekkle, who also doesn't have a three, but your Trek has a three. And Rich, you sent me some, and I love those. I use those all the time. They're brilliant. And so trying to replace the three, I was trying all sorts of different brushes. But one thing I got into, actually, you can see here, this is it's a six, and it's quite worn out. You can always tell when the type, and this is also a six, but check it out. They're different, right? They're quite different. Why is that? Well, I don't know, but this is going to do a certain kind of job. Like for a sky, I feel like this would be too. I need more looseness in the sky. Not that I want to brush. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh here, this has the cup thing. This has been well worn down. This is a 4. I can't even tell what it is. I think it's a 4. This brush has been through it. You'll see this brush in many a video. You can spot it because of the tape around it, because the ferrule started coming off. So I just taped it on. Yeah, I don't have any of those. I do have this brand. That's the DOS. But I started getting into the DOS 4s because they're a little looser in that sky. And you want that. You want maybe a brush to give you a little more control in the foliage areas, and in the sky you need a brush that's a little looser. But what I cannot stand, I cannot abide, is a really loose brush. And you'll see that in the cheapest of the Chinese brushes in the dollar stores. And I've had so many students come in with all their brushes, and I've taken the brushes and just thrown them in the trash and said, here, take these. I've given them some of my old brushes, and also told them where they can go to buy, inexpensive brushes that are working well. And the DOS is the case with that. But don't chintz on your brushes. You want to spend some good money. Not don't buy 20 of a brush you don't have much experience with. Buy a couple. Like this has been the case with the Trekkle 6. Now this is a 6. The Trekkle 6 is going to rule over this. First of all, you see it's got like these hairs coming off there. And in fact, Art Spectrum, that was what got you into sending me the your Trek, because I think I was doing Art Spectrum 2s or something. And the Art Spectrum 2 is sometimes it would be good, but a lot of times, oh no, that's when you sent me a Silver Grand Prix. Smart. They're smart. They got a 1. They got a 3. No, they don't have a 3. They got a 0. They got a 1. I use those all the time. I use my Silver Grand Prix 0 and my 1 all the time. But I was using the Art Spectrum, and it's a little bit floppy. It's a little bit loose there, And now there's times when I'm using a smaller brush. Well, this will work. This is a worn down too. You're doing little bits of things. You don't need a lot of flop. I was running into that yesterday. I use those. Yeah. Oh no, that's not it. That's not it. I don't have any here, and the name is escaping me. But there's those gold ones, and they're really pretty. And some of them are great. But I got into one yesterday. I was using it as my dedicated black brush, and it was floppy ass. And that wasn't working for me. I mean, I actually just kept working with it. I make it happen. And that's maybe something I will point out to you, is that you can make almost any brush work. What you'll need to do is adjust your mentation about what you're doing and embrace the brush, although that's my early mentation. But if I find I'm just hitting that frustration button too much, you'll hear in the live videos, I say, forget this brush. I, I don't really want to clean another brush, but I grab another brush because this is what's great about painting. Okay. It is the painting. You got some reference, you got some input. That's all good. We could all use the same reference, 20 of us in a room, and we'd make 20 probably completely different paintings. So reference has an impact, big, strong impact, but don't think it's everything, you know. Um, and it's the paint, and you got to make it happen. And that's that is so valuable, and then that's going to get more valuable as we get more digital in this world. Now you can see the sun's kind of coming out over there. My lights changing. Yeah, so we're going on 40 minutes. We're doing all right. Sorry I started early. Rich, thank you for being there. Any other questions? Elaine, if you're still with us, do you have a question? I just wrote about this, Rich. God, it just happened to me too. Oh, I can talk about that. Yeah. So I'm doing these big scenics. I want to do Fongaray Heads. I live in Fongaray. We've got these nice big peninsulas coming into the ocean. I had this reference for a long time. I can show you. I can draw it. I can draw it. And you'll see this immediately. And I was just trying to can you see that? So it's a long panoramic. We got a situation where we got this, and then we've got the heads like this. That's already. Can you see that? Sorry. That already looks really bad, doesn't it? Well, I did everything I could to fix it, and then I spent 2 hours doing an underpainting. But I'm really, really glad that I did the underpainting. I'm like, okay, it's fine, it's fine. I get up and I go to the restroom. I'm going to leave actually. I pack up myself. Okay, that's fine. This underpainting's done. I'm gonna come in and do the color tomorrow. But I'm walking to the restroom and go, no, that's just not right. It's not right. So I very rarely have I done this. I go back to the studio, I get some oil out, I squirt it over that underpainting, I wipe the whole damn thing off because it's just compositional suicide. Hey, appreciate that, Elaine. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah. Um, that is very rare for me. Most of the time, I'll just think, yeah, I'm going to make it work. But this one, I didn't make it work. And so I went home that night. I'm like, I got to find a better reference of this Wongeray heads. So the heads is coming out in the water. I found a view from the other side that's going to work great after hours of searching. But I lost that time. I just stomp a painting just the other day. Was one I was doing path with some trees and the way the trees were coming into the sky. That's really challenging. And Rich, you do an amazing job with that in your work, where you've got the trees coming into the sky over an opening, you know. I'm a sky opening. This is trees. Yeah, it's annoying. Frustration. But it's the fight. And this is the thing I was saying, we can type a sentence and get an amazing bit of art now, and are you going to take credit for that? I guess there's people out there. Yeah, I typed that sentence. I came up with that. Uh huh. Yeah. Well, the AI just looked at the entire history of the world of art, took your prompt, mixed it with its history of the world of art, and including illustration and everything, and gave you an incredible picture. You got zero credit. You didn't do anything other than type a sentence. Now, it can be fun. I do it sometimes. Yeah, I've made some things. But making things in the real world with real paint, the struggle is real. It gives your life meaning. That. And of course, I've talked about this a lot somewhat in the last book, all the time on the channel, and very much in this new book. Is that that's painful. Yeah, it's no craftsmanship. Yeah, I'm with you. There is no craftsmanship. In fact, we have prompt engineers now. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to write a prompt. Well, guess what? This AI is getting smarter and smarter and smarter. Your job as a prompt engineer is over in a couple years because the AI is going to be able to figure out what you want from the barest minimal input from you. And it's going to work so fast and be so smart. It could give you 20 things and you just pick the thing that's closest. So there is no craftsmanship there. And it's not just craftsmanship, it's artistic impetus, right? Expressing who and what you are. And I'm always telling people, I think that each of us is one of a kind, not to ever be repeated event that's happening in the world. Yeah, we're an event that's carrying on from day after day, but we all have a limited time here. We all have an outlook that is based on, our ancestry, how we were brought up, how smart we are, how much we're able to interpret emotions of other people, all these factors. What sort of influences we've had coming up, it's just infinite, and there's no way it can be repeated. But when you make a painting, a real world painting in the real world, that's a real thing, and that's valuable. And as you know, I'm totally with you on that, Rich. I will use the AI to support my work. I'm going to use it to help me get these transcriptions done, for example. And I got it on a tight leash. I don't want to hear any of its stupid gobbledygook. You guys may or may not like the way I talk, but The way I talk is the way I talk, and that's what I want to be in my books too, and all my lives. And I don't need the AI stepping all over that. I've had to work quite a while to train it up to leave my words alone, because this book is going to be what I say. Meanwhile, though, it does a great job of structuring my ideas. It does a great job of fixing my very poor grammar. Spelling, we've had a handle on for a long time. And then as far as the images you can make with it, I had a big play with stuff. I think I showed it on my 2 weeks ago. I was doing this experiment on Twitter where I was putting up these AI images, but honestly, I have too much stuff going on right now. I can't mess with that. I can't do it anymore. I've got to focus on um, making these big scenics. I'm keeping my tonalism going. I'm doing this live, and I do think the lives are good. And we get people coming around looking at it, and I know I cover a lot of ground, but at least I am a human being, an animated speaker, and might be something there for someone. Also, I wasn't able to get. There are no transcriptions of the lives, but if I could do that, YouTube doesn't do that in their infinite wisdom, and I am going very low tech here. I am just doing YouTube webcam. I had this program. What's it called? I don't know what it's called. You don't care either. What's it called? OBS. I did get it working last time, but you don't need to see what's on my screen. You don't care. You don't care about the photo manipulations, which we can probably get into a little bit there, because I think you should. Even if it's using an app on your phone with your, I don't have any regular scenics here on my phone, but manipulate that reference. Get in there, make that part of the imaginary part of the process. For me, it all starts with the reference, and much of the time, especially in the past, it'd be coming across a scene in nature and then thinking I could make a painting from that. But it's going to be silver, blue, green, gray. Maybe you're lucky, like where you live there, Rich. You get the autumn over there. Okay, so you're gonna get a change of color part of the year. Summer, summer is always better for painting because you get the dry grass with the green trees. But you get what I'm saying. I like to inject a lot of color into things and more, and then a lot of times I'll feed imagery into the matrix and see what spits out. I can use almost anything as a reference to make a painting, because no matter what the reference is, it's me, it's the painting. And Rich, I think you'll be interested to see the one that I'm going to be doing on Saturday. I wouldn't know if the live version is going to be that, but you've seen more lives than anyone. I'm going to have to give you a no prize. And I think it's going to be better, the live thing. So ultimately, going for the best thing to do when you're instituting a new sort of policy is to just start doing it, and then you can look back. Like in my case, I have thousands of videos. I'd like to archive them properly. I'd like to have them all indexed. I'd like to be a real record of what's being discussed in them. And that is a dream, and that will be happening as we traipse on into the future. It ain't easy. No, it ain't easy translating into paint. In fact, that's what I always say. Is like I had this, as you know, a background of being a drawer, pen and ink guy. Wasn't doing much painting. I did some painting for the commercial places. I did landscapes and things for the hospitality bit, but those weren't like painting like I do now. Um, Painting is not easy to do, and like I said, it's real. When you put the real paint on the real board with the real brush, that's an event. That's a one of a kind event that's done. Now you can put another stroke over it, you can scrape it off, you can mess around with it. Um, but whatever stroke you end up adding is going to be another fresh stroke. And these are cumulative. And this is what's incredible about painting. And I did tell the story in the new book about my time trying to do landscape paintings in the computer, and it was just terrible. It didn't work out very well at all. Oh, one of these. That's the one we talked about this last week. The waterfalls or the little stream in the background there. Sorry, it's all blown out. I ought to have one of these like green screen or something. I could put a whole one of my paintings behind. But we'll see. You never know. We're gonna just keep going live every Friday, and people can watch or they can not, and they can show up with their questions. Thank you for that question on the Trekkle. I love Trekkle so much, and I guess at the end of the day, I guess the real answer to the Trekkle question is I get the results I want easier, and that's the brushes you should use. The brushes that give you the results. Some people like soft brushes. Some people like hard brushes. Generally speaking, though, for oil paint, if you're into oil painting, it's all about the hog's bristle. Um, if you're working with some floppy sable, I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, maybe you can make something happen. There's a lot of ways to make painting happen. I know, for example, like Toulouse-Lautrec, a lot of people think of his graphics and things, but he was a pretty good painter too. He liked to apply his paint like almost like a pastel. What he would do is he would squeeze the paint out on cardboard and let the all the oil from the paint soak into the cardboard, and then he'd be working on that pigment that barely had any kind of liquidity to it. Very interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go, and that's why, as my assistant Eve was saying, paint more, care less. That'll be the subject of this particular live. Paint more, care less. If you paint more, you will care less because, in my example of the lion painting in the desert with the flaming chariot, that could be an amazing painting. That could be absolutely awesome, but it's probably not going to happen if it's the only painting you're doing in a year. And if it does happen, it's going to have a lot of stuff wrong with it because you have to work all these things out. You have to make your mistakes. So, 5x7, 8x10, get yourself some boards. You can get them from, that's an 8x10, by the way. And like I said, for horizontal, it's not the greatest proportion, but frankly, you can make it work. I did. And 5x7, even better. 5x7 is a much more forgiving. Come on now. Oh, is that this? No, that's not the same one. That's kind of a. This is 2019. This is when I was in the antique shop. Is that a study? Yeah, study after Corot. It's got issues though. It's not too bad. Anyway, yeah, the great thing about these is you can make a painting a day this size and then work in some bigger ones. And oh, Mike, we heard you say that before. Uh-huh. Are you doing a painting a day? Are you? Well, go ahead, do one. It's 2 hours, right? Get yourself set up. You can buy boards this size. You can get a whole pack of them, like 25 of them from Amazon. Just you get the hardboard or the MDF. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. I had my issues with MDF after the flood. Yeah, it's not easy. Oh, yeah, no, this one I was talking about with the foliage coming in the sky. I ended up painting the foliage over with the sky, and then I thought, oh, that's kind of working. And self deception's a real a real thing. Uh, but then I said, well, I'll put some liquid on it, and I could see everything. I ended up stomping on that thing, and I put a lot of time and effort into it. But yeah, I don't like to give up either. Increasingly, as you know, I used to do a lot of revisions. What's with all this noise? Oh, it's a noisy day. We'll be leaving soon. Yeah. Well, actually, you put a lot more effort into most of your things than I do, Rich. You spend more time, and I like to. I'm putting the effort out, but I like to spread it over more paintings, and that's what works best for me. But I have done some recently. I've got 8 hours in there, and as you know, I've got the. You can kind of. Where is it? Not so much that one. There's an Ines over here. My best Ines study. It's on the channel. That was 9 hours, something like that. Um, You might not even know how much time you put in painting. I know because I'm recording it, but that for me is a lot of time to put in a painting. But for some people, that'd be nothing at all. I I I I just know I do better with the fresh, immediate thing, and then I'm always passing this on, but this is great to keep repeating, especially if a lot of you have that frustration. You're doing paintings that you have this really awesome sense of aesthetics. You look at things and go, "That is good. I like that," and then you're thinking, "I could do something," because you recognize good. You have the ability to do good. However, if you're going to paint, you have to work to get there because painting isn't that easy, but it's totally worthwhile. It's the greatest. I think it's pretty much the greatest intellectual exercise for somebody that's artistically inclined. I really do. I don't think there's any better way to spend your time. Yeah, you're right. It's wiser just to move on, and it's wise to listen to that inner voice, like on that scene I was talking about. It started with the reference. I knew. And this one that I wiped off the other day, I knew I had that reference sitting there for months. And then I'm like, oh, I can make it work. I can make it work. But I'm better off for the experience. You're better off for those failed paintings because, as I'm always harping on, and this is why I say experience is the best teacher, you know it didn't work. You don't have to guess. Mike told you it didn't work. Doesn't matter. You know it didn't work because you tried it and you failed. So don't do that again. Just move on. Do something different. Try something different. Yeah, well, this has been so fun. This was a little easier for me this week, and I hope you get something from these lives. I'm just happy to I'm really happy to be able to talk to people and teach people and share what I do. And I just think painting is so fulfilling, and I think that as humans are being freed from the drudgery as we move forward, I'm hoping a lot more people will say, "Wow, now I can paint. I've got time to paint." I've made time to paint. I configured my whole life so I could. I decided I was going to make a lot less money because I made really good money as a commercial illustrator, but no, I want to make things that I think are beautiful and lasting. That's the whole purpose of the end portion of my life and teaching as well. I want to help. I want to help. If I have one gift in that I can talk and I have experience. So hopefully there's two together and we can make something happen. But I think we make it an even hour because we're at 57 minutes right now with our just appreciate you. I appreciate all the support I've got. Many of you've bought the book, and I don't know what format the new book's. I've got to finish writing it, and then I'm going to be looking at the different formats. But definitely going to happen as a physical version. That's going to be kind of a deluxe thing. But I'm also thinking of doing a electronic version that will be something different and. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do because, like I said, I've got to keep writing, and I've been writing every. My whole thing is how I'm getting it done, and this is the same way you get your painting done. I say I got to get 2 chapters done every day, maybe 3 if I can. One. There's been a couple times this week where a lot of things hit me. I only got one done, but if I don't get that done, I don't feel right. And it's the same thing. If I go 1, 2 days without painting, I start going, I got to paint. I got to paint. I can't call myself a painter if I don't paint, right? What kind of painter is that? Like that's my training. I've trained myself. You can do the same. In fact, you get that momentum going, you'll be invincible. You'll start being so good. There's no end to it. There's no end to it. The end is like when you die or something, really. And for me, I'm gonna die with a brush in my hand. That'd be my way to go. I'm just painting along. I go. There's nothing funny about death, Mike. Yeah, well, we've been making jokes about death for a long time. So hopefully I'll be here a long time and we'll keep doing these lives. Check out that video that's coming your way on Saturday and the blog or the Substack or join my mailing list. Join the join through the Substack though is probably the best way because I really like the way They allow me to put the video, the all the information, the type all in one thing, and it goes out in the email, and then you can do what you want with it. You can read it, you go, "Oh my God, I don't know." Or you go, "Oh, that Mike, yeah, no, he had a couple good things he said the other day. He's my boy. Mike's my boy." Till they come back. Do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones, and stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family. Fight the power.